Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello, I am Janaya, and if you are not new here, thank you for watching another video of mine. In today's video, I am going to be doing a much needed book unhaul. I don't think I've ever filmed a book unhaul on this channel, but this is the first one that I'm doing with you guys, and it is quite a big one. I think I have like over 40 books here, which is kind of crazy because I do garner connections, is that the word, to my books, and I have a problem with unhauling them even if I don't enjoy them or know I'm not going to read them. But I'm doing better and I am now unhauling them. Let's get into this book unhaul because we have quite a bit of books here. I'm not gonna like read you the synopsis to any of them. I will tell you what they're about if I have read them, and I will tell you why I plan on unhauling them and why I don't want to keep them. So yeah, also this is in no particular order. The books are kind of just like bundled together, so it's gonna be kind of all over the place. The first book I have is Leave the World Behind by Ramon Alam. I read this book and I gave this like a 1.5. So I really did not enjoy this. I just thought it was really boring. I am very picky with my thrillers and horrors at the moment because that is my favorite genre to read. So I'm very picky with them, and this one just didn't make the cut for me. No Exit by Taylor Adams. I had really high hopes for this book, and unfortunately it just didn't meet those expectations that I had. I read The Last Word and that was a 5-star for me, so I was expecting this to be also like just as good as that book, and it just wasn't. I thought this was really boring. I thought it was predictable, and I thought the ending was not that great. Pride and Prejudice in Space by Alex Lampley. This book I am never going to read. I honestly bought this book because I heard someone talking about it and I thought the cover was really pretty. I'm like, oh, that's interesting, but I'm never gonna read this. I'm gonna be real honest. I'm never picking up this book ever. We then have The Girl with All the Gifts by Emma Carey. I liked the movie way better than I liked the book, which is very rare for me, but I just thought that this was boring. The movie gave me more, I feel like, and I don't know, it didn't keep my attention like I thought it would. Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. This is a well-known, well-loved like horror, like thriller author, and I had such high hopes for this book. The premise of the book was so good, and I thought that like I would love this, and I did it. I gave this a 2-star as well. It was just boring, and like there was like really nothing happening, nothing that kept me wanting to read this book, even though I did finish it because it's a short book. But it was just, I don't know. I think I will try more Paul Tremblay. It's just that one just wasn't for me. 1922 by Stephen King. We know how I feel about this book. I originally gave this book a 3-star, and that is way too high for this book. This book was not good. It was not good. And I'm never gonna reread it, and I don't feel the need, even though it is a Stephen King book and I was keeping it because it is a Stephen King book, but it's just not good and I didn't enjoy it at all, so it just doesn't need to be kept anymore. When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill. I just don't think I'm ever going to read this book. When I first got it, I was really interested in reading it, but like as the time goes on, it's just, I'm just less and less intrigued by this book, and I just don't want to read it anymore. Someone in the Attic by Andrea Mara. This book I got from Book of the Month, and even when I was picking this book, I was kind of on the fence about it, and now just like rereading through the synopsis, it's just not interesting to me. It seems like it's going to be boring, and I don't want to read a book that's going to be boring, especially if it's a thriller. Annie Bot by Sierra Greer. This book, I actually did not want to buy this book at first. My mom convinced me to buy this book, and I haven't read it since, and I don't think I'm ever going to read this book, so I'm not going to keep it. The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. I have started this book 3 times and stopped reading it every single time. I'm never going to read this book. I don't know if it's the writing style, which usually isn't a problem for me. Usually I can adapt to any type of writing style, but for some reason I cannot get into this book no matter what. So I think I'm just gonna call a spade and get rid of it. I'm sure it's a great book, but I'm just not going to read it. Then we have Killers of a Certain Age. This is also a book that I have started multiple times and just cannot get through. I don't know what it is about this book. I can't do it. So I'm just gonna get rid of it, and then maybe if later down the road I want to read it, I'll get it again. I don't know, but I'm not gonna read this anytime soon, so it doesn't need to stay on my shelves. You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose. This was, for the most part, honestly, I rated this a 3. So it wasn't horrible, but like the first part was pretty interesting to me, but then the farther I got in the book, the more I'm just like, well, what the heck is going on? What are we doing here? And then the ending really made me mad, because like I hate a thriller book where the ending feels like it was just thrown in and wasn't like thought about, like it wasn't originally part of the book. And that's what I felt about this ending. It literally felt like someone just threw the ending in, and there was like, it wasn't originally there. Like, we're just throwing things in. So that's why I'm getting rid of this book. I have heard so many good things about Geneva Rose though, so maybe I will try more of her books. This one just didn't mesh well with me. The Club by Ellery Lloyd. I gave this book a 2.5 stars, but I think I'm gonna lower that to a 2. It just like, it wasn't good. It was boring, and I read this book the same time, like right after I read Leave the World Behind, and it was just disappointment after disappointment, and I'm not keeping this book. And I also don't recommend anyone read this book. It was boring and it was predictable. Yeah. And one thing about me, if the like first part of a thriller book is not like crazy good, if the ending is good, I could give it a pass. But all of these books that I've been reading lately that are thriller, that are just bad all the way through, like I just can't do it. And the endings have been horrible, including this one. So next we have 3 books. We have Mistborn, The Well of Ascension, and The Hero of Ages. I have them right here, like the regular like paperback size, and this is what I originally got first, and I don't like mass market paperbacks. If I can do it, I will not get a mass market paperback, and so that's why I'm getting rid of these, because they're not my personal preference when it comes to sizes of books, so that's why I'm getting rid of those. But I do have those books still. I have The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. This book I originally bought because I thought it was The Girl with All the Gifts. That's what I thought it was, and it's not. But also this is a mass market paperback, and I don't do those. So that's why I'm getting rid of this. I actually don't think I would read this anyway. Even if I bought it in a regular size, I don't think I would have read this anyway. It just doesn't call to me. Even though I know it's a good book. Like, I've heard so many good things about it, it's just not calling my name. Unlucky 13 by James Patterson. 1, I think this is a part of a series. 2, it's a mass market paperback. And 3, I'm just not interested in reading it. So we're getting rid of it. Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. This is a classic, and as I was going through my books and reading the backs of them and seeing if it was still something that I was interested in, and this was just one book that I'm just not interested in anymore, so I'm going to give it away to someone who is interested in it. Misery by Stephen King. Once again, I do have this book. I just have the regular like paperback version of this book instead of the mass market paperback, but I do own the book. I just don't want this version anymore. Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I'm just not interested in reading this anymore. When it comes to classics, I only want classics that I think I'm going to enjoy and that I'm really interested in reading on my shelves, because if I'm not interested in reading a classic, why do I have it? Because first of all, I need to be in a mood to read a classic in general, and if I'm not interested in it, I know I'm not going to read it. I'm going to give it to someone who wants to. The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This is also, I'm on the fence about this because I've heard really good things about it, but I just don't think that I'm too interested in it. I don't know. I'm gonna give it away for now, and then if at some point I want to read it, I'll probably just get it on Libby. and read it that way, because I don't know, I'm not 100% sure that I want to read this book. And then we have Emma by Jane Austen. I've just heard that this book is really boring and that it's literally just for following this nosy girl who is in everyone's business. And I don't really know if that's something that I want to read. So I'm going to give this away. This is the only Jane Austen book that I'm getting rid of. I do have a good amount of her books right here. So this is the only book of hers that I'm getting rid of. It's just that it just seems boring. And what's the point, you know? Okay, now we're getting into like, I think the rest are like romance, like literary fiction, maybe a little bit of, no, I think it's just romance, literary fiction left. So the first two books are by the same author, and that is The Sun Is Also a Star and Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. I have had these books for a very, very long time. I love both of these books. I just don't think that it makes sense for me to keep them if I'm never going to reread them. Like, I reread this recently and I know I'm never going to reread this again, and I reread this I think sometime in 2024. I feel like it was at the beginning of 2024 that I reread this, and I just know I'm never going to reread these books. And I also like the movies significantly better than I like the books, so that's why I'm getting rid of these books. But these are very special books to me. But I just don't feel the need to keep them when they could go to like other younger girls that would probably enjoy them more. Next we have another author, and these are two of her series that I have. They're also young adult series, and that is the To All the Boys I've Loved Before series and The Summer I Turned Pretty series. Now, these books, I read To All the Boys I've Loved Before, really liked them. They're just very young for me. I'm never going to reread these books. I'm not going to. I'd also just rather watch the movies. And then for The Summer I Turned Pretty, I read, I think, these two. And one thing about me, I hate a love triangle. I don't care if it's a young adult book. I don't like a love triangle, and that is the main point of this series. So I'm never gonna reread them. I don't like the show, and it doesn't make sense for me to keep these books if I know I'm not gonna reread them, and I didn't really enjoy them from the beginning. We then have Odd One Out by Nick Stone. This is the only Nick Stone book that I'm getting rid of. I have two of her other books that I'm gonna keep for the rest of my life, but this one I have not read, and I'm also not intrigued by at all. I don't think I'm ever gonna read this, so it doesn't make any sense for me to keep this book. But I got this in like 10th grade, so I think it's time. Love Boat Taipei by Abigail Hingwen. I got this book a long time ago, and I was really interested in reading it at that point, and then like a month later I was like, actually I don't think I want to read that book. And then I saw there was a movie coming out about it, so I was like, actually maybe I do want to read that book. And then I never read it, and now I know I don't want to read the book, so I'm gonna give it away. Then we have Under the Sycamore Tree by B. Celeste. This book I found randomly. When I was working at Kroger, this book was in our like very small book section that we had, so I got it. But then I read it, the back of it, and apparently it's step siblings, and I am not interested in that. So yeah, not gonna keep that. It's weird to me, and I don't. Is anyone interested in reading that? I don't know. I'm not, so I'm not gonna keep that. That can go to someone who enjoys things like that. Then we have Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman. I have had this book for a very long time, and I'm not ever going to read this book, so I don't know why it's still here. I'm gonna get rid of it, actually, this time. Slapshot Surprise by Melanie Harlow. The only reason why I'm getting rid of this book is because this is like the 5th book in the series, and also they're all on Kindle Unlimited, so it literally makes no sense at all that I have this in my library when 1, I don't have the other 4, and 2, I can read this online for free. The Christmas Catch by Toni Shiloh. This I read on Christmas Day, and I really enjoyed it. It was really cute, but it's a novella and it's a Christmas book, and I'm never going to reread it because it's so small. Like, I don't even think it hit 200 pages. So I remember every single thing that happened in this book. So I know I'm not going to reread it because I know everything that happened. So that's why I'm getting rid of this book. But I do recommend it. It was really good. Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I gave this book a 3-star. I wasn't crazy about it. I just felt like she was kind of treating us, not like we were dumb, but kind of. Like, she was explaining things that didn't need to be explained. So yeah, I think maybe I'll try her other books, but her other books are definitely more like require more brain power, so I don't know. I just know that I'm not keeping this one. Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I didn't like this book. I gave it a 3. I was not a fan. I thought it was predictable. I didn't like the main characters. I don't know what I don't know, because everyone loves this book. Everyone loves this book, and then I'm just like, I don't know what you guys are reading, but it's definitely not what I just read, because everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is a 6-star book. How? I don't know, but I love that you guys love that book. It's just I don't. Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I read this book in 9th grade, or was it 10th? I think it was 9th grade that I read this book, and I liked it when I got it, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I really like that book, so I should buy it again, and I'm never going to reread it. And also, there's some weird stuff that happened with this author, so yeah, I don't want this anymore. This Time It's Real by Anne Liang. I gave this book a 3. I think I gave it a 3. I just don't think that young adult romances are really for me anymore, and I keep trying them. Actually, no, not necessarily, because I really like Axio's books, and I really like Susan Lee's books. So I don't know, maybe it's just the character of this book that I didn't like, but I just wasn't a fan of this. I do get why so many people like this book. It just wasn't my thing. Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. I'm just never gonna read this book. I've had it for like 3 years at this point. It's not getting read. The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. You guys are probably like, what the heck? What? She's getting rid of a Christina Lauren? Don't worry, guys. Calm down. The only reason why I'm getting rid of this book is because the first book is the Soulmate Equation, and they don't have a book of the month version of that book, so I'm only getting rid of this so that I could get both of them in like the same version, like either regular hardcover or paperback. That's the only reason. Don't you worry. And then I have Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. At one point, I was really excited to read this book, and then I've just heard so many people talking about this book and not saying good things. So I have decided that I'm not going to read this book. Usually that won't deter me from reading a book, like other people not liking it, but for some reason it did that to me. But it was basically because people were saying that it talked about the pandemic, and I don't want to read a book about the pandemic, okay? I don't think anyone wants to read a book about the pandemic, so we're not keeping this. Before I Let Go by Kenny Ryan. Once again, you guys are probably like, what the heck? Calm down, guys. I'm only getting rid of this book because I want to get it in paperback or regular hardcover, because this one was on Book of the Month and I was really excited, and then they didn't put not Before I Let Go, they didn't put This Could Be Us on Book of the Month. And I've been waiting. I've been very patient with Book of the Month, thinking that they were going to put it on as like possible add-ons, and they didn't. So I am taking the loss and just getting rid of this so I can get the other books in the same one, because the third book is also coming out. So excited. So that's the only reason I'm getting rid of this book, because we know I really liked this. Then we have 16 and Thomas by Lala Thomas. 16 and Pregnant by Lala Thomas. I'm never gonna read this book. I got this literally randomly. I had never heard anyone talk about this book. I never heard of this book, and I saw it and I was like, oh, that's interesting, because I love the show Teen Mom. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, is it gonna be that show in a book? And I never read it. I'd rather just watch the show. So, and then the very last book in this haul is unhaul is Felix Ever After by Casey Calendar. I enjoyed this book for what it was, but I'm never gonna reread it. I also wasn't crazy about the characters in this book, so there's just no reason for me to read this book. I also do not think that I am the target audience for this book, to be fair. So I'd rather just give this book to someone who is the target audience and can learn something from this book, because I am not that girl. So yeah, I'm gonna give this to someone who, or give this to, I don't know, a bookstore where someone who can enjoy this will be. So yeah, those are all of the books that I am getting rid of. I am gonna count how many is here. Guys, there's 47 books in that pile right there. That's crazy. I got rid of almost 50. Should I find 3 more? No, I think I'm gonna keep the rest of the books that are in here. I think so. I think maybe like every like 3 months I'll go through my books and be like, what can I get rid of? I think we'll make this like a quarterly. Yeah, every 3 months is quarter. We'll make it a quarterly thing, and then yeah, because this is nice to see that I am now able to get rid of books and not cry about it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have read any of these books and liked them, you can tell me. I'm still gonna get rid of them, but you guys can tell me why you liked them. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.